The rumble of the airplane engine sounded like a freedom song. My sabbatical from Catalyst had officially begun. Next stop, London, England. For the first time in over a decade, I had no workplace responsibilities, no email inbox to clear, no deadlines to meet. As with any new endeavor, I began laying out my expectations for the sabbatical. And first on my list was self-understanding. The Brad who once was had already begun slipping through my fingers, and I needed to know who would stand in his place. I wanted to explore the depths of who Brad Lomenick really was when my professional identity had been stripped away. Freedom met fear as the plane prepared for takeoff. London was to be more than a vacation. Steve Cockram, my old friend who had encouraged me to take the sabbatical in the first place, was waiting for me there. We planned to spend 3 days peeling back the layers of my inner onion and surveying what existed at my core. Could any 72-hour goal be more ambitious? Looking back, I was really setting out to accomplish this goal in reverse order. The time to develop a habit of self-discovery is not after one has spent a decade in leadership, but before. If one doesn't know who he is, how can he fully know how to live out what he feels called to do? Influencers should lead from the inside out so that their identity shapes their leadership rather than the other way around. For 3 days, Steve and I walked along the famous River Thames and sipped on beer in English pubs and on great lattes in English coffee shops. We did a lot of wandering and nearly as much talking. We even visited a few landmarks, including the Queen's second home at Windsor Castle, intermittently processing what this change of season meant. Over a decade, I had become Catalyst, and Catalyst had become me. Every time Steve asked me personal questions about my identity, my primary impulse was to talk about Catalyst. Somewhere along the way, and I can't tell you exactly when it happened, I had erased the line between me and the organization I was leading. This represented a critical failure on my part to develop one of the essential habits that every leader should constantly cultivate, a habit of self-discovery. Most leaders are mission-minded. They focus on goals and tasks and achievement. That's how they've ended up with influence to begin with. But the shadow side of this characteristic is the tendency to focus so tightly on a mission that one loses sight of the person pursuing it. Soon, one becomes a ship without a captain, a body without a heart, a leader without an independent identity. Unless one develops habits to combat this tendency, one's identity can slip further and further away over time. The more one works in a particular field, the more one becomes identified with the job and the reputation she has gained through doing it. Before long, one ceases to be. But if an influencer has no identity, if she ceases to be, she creates a fragile reality. She conflates who she is with what she does, and constructs a house of cards that depends on succeeding, or at least maintaining some semblance of organizational cachet. That's why job loss obliterates so many leaders. The financial deficit stings, but the identity loss decimates them. They no longer have an answer to the question, "Who am I?" At least, not one they believe. Developing a habit of self-discovery means creating intentional rhythms whereby one observes who he is, listens to his life, and strives to define himself apart from his professional assignments. This habit helps a leader connect to an organization without being consumed by it. While it may not seem pragmatic, it is vital. Unless one is rooted in his identity, he can never become a change maker. For as Jean-Paul Sartre wrote, "To be at all, you must be something in particular."